all those wasted years that I've been training fasted in the morning, and maybe that wasn't the most optimal way to build muscle. I can't believe no. Well, what are we supposed to do if that's not the case? Let's break it down. Maybe that's the hill that I want to go down on, saying that fasted training is optimal. And we could go back and forth with every different personality on the internet about whether fasted training is better or worse or this or that. Okay, when it comes down to building muscle combined with fasting, when is the optimal time to train? And how do we build muscle? What is the optimal just combination of things? Okay, I am someone that has almost exclusively trained fasted. I enjoy it. I've managed to build muscle. I've managed to maintain muscle. I've managed to stay lean. And I promote the heck out of training fasted, but that doesn't mean that it's the optimal, totally best way. Okay, and if we look at some of the research, I actually have to say, if building muscle is your primary goal, training during your eating period might even be best. So why? Well, if you look at a study that was published in the Journal of Translational Medicine, it took a look at a large group of resistance-trained males, and it had them do what is called late time-restricted feeding, which is pretty much what a standard intermittent fasting protocol is, where they skipped breakfast and they consolidated most of their calories towards the afternoon and evening time. Okay, in this particular case, they ate at 1 p.m., 4 p.m., and 8 p.m., and they trained during their eating period. In this particular case, they actually did reduce fat a little bit, but they maintained their muscle quite perfectly. Okay, their calories were matched where they needed to be, and they were able to maintain muscle and possibly even increase strength a little bit. That's pretty cool. And then when you look at another study that was published in the Journal of Applied Physiology, it suggests that training in the afternoon is actually more advantageous for building muscle. This study took a look at 42 people, and it found the people that trained in the morning compared to the people that trained in the evening, well, they didn't build as much muscle. Those in the evening did build more muscle. So what is going on here? Like, is everything I've been talking about for the last 9 years totally wrong? No, I don't think it's wrong, because I looked at it from the side of, okay, I already lost fat. I want to keep my fat off. I want to burn fat because I'm more interested in staying lean than building gobs and gobs of muscle. If anything, I've probably lost some muscle size over the last couple of years because it's just not my main focus anymore. I'd rather stay lean. And I like the hormetic stressors that come with training fasted. What I mean by that is, if I'm in a fast, things are difficult and I have all kinds of different cellular effects going on. I want to inflict more stress. I want to inflict more I don't dare I say damage, but difficult times on my body during that fast for the hormetic stressor effect. Lactate clearance, the ability to deal and be more resilient. If I wanted to build muscle, I do need to look at a very, very simple thing. Muscle protein breakdown versus muscle protein synthesis. Now, when we are fasting, what will happen is you will have muscle protein breakdown that occurs. It doesn't mean that your muscle per se is the only thing breaking down though. Okay, protein breakdown can occur from the skin, it can occur from protein components of cells and organelles within cells. Okay, so we can take the amino acids from all kinds of different tissues and cells and things like that and break those down while still preserving muscle mass. In fact, there's even some argument, and Peter Attia has talked about this to a certain degree, where if you take cells that are breaking down and releasing amino acids during a fast, they could potentially reallocate to the muscle. So you could, in total hypothetical theory, break down proteins and deaminate them from your skin and actually have them travel to muscle, to rebuild muscle. Okay, it's all about like where you're training, what you're doing, and where your body feels the proper allocation should be. But at the very simple essence of muscle protein breakdown versus muscle protein synthesis, how much we break down versus how much we synthesize, training during your eating period gives you more protein available. If you train in the morning and you're fasting by skipping breakfast, well, guess what? You're going to train in the morning early, and then you're not going to be able to eat for a few hours. Now, you don't need to replenish your protein right after your workout. That's somewhat old news. Protein synthesis stays elevated for like 24 hours. But depending on different circumstances, your body could be more catabolic at a specific time. So yes, you burn more fat, but you do walk a fine line of taking a risk of burning muscle up. So again, I cannot overemphasize enough. If building muscle is your primary concern and you're not as concerned with a little bit of fat and you're not as concerned with how much fat can you lose, if you don't mind training during your eating period, I would do that. but it doesn't mean you have to train in the afternoon, okay? The studies that show that you're gonna get more muscle building by training in the evening definitely are there, okay? They definitely demonstrate that yes, you have more fuel in the system and you might have more anabolic response. But remember, you also have more genes associated with fuel metabolism elevated in the morning. The Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism published a paper that demonstrated that genes that are associated with fatty acid oxidation are expressed significantly higher in the morning. As a matter of fact, they were expressed 38 to 82% lower in the evening than they are in the morning. What does that mean? That means our body has the ability to deal with fuels, larger amounts of food in the morning than it does in the evening. This also means that you could utilize fuel better in general, probably even proteins. So after your workouts, whether it's in the morning or in the afternoon, the focus should be protein. You should be trying to replace the protein that you break down. You break down the protein during a fast, you add the protein back in, and the higher the quality of the protein, the better. Okay, I put a link down below for ButcherBox. So if you like good grass-fed, grass-finished meat, they also have a really good pork breakfast sausage. So if you're kind of consolidating everything to the morning, you can get some good breakfast sausage. But they have chicken, they have pork, they have filet, they have every cut of beef you could imagine. They have scallops, they have wild-caught sockeye salmon, and that link down below is a special link that allows you to try them out. So ButcherBox is cool. They deliver right to your doorstep. We're talking all good, grass-fed, grass-finished, high-quality meat. Super awesome. I've been using them for years. They've been a sponsor of my channel for years. So again, that link is down below. Definitely recommend you try them out. I think you'll find a lot of times it's arguably cheaper than a lot of grocery stores, especially when you start looking at what is truly grass-fed, grass-finished versus what is grass-fed and possibly a little bit grain-finished, or totally grain-fed and then just finished on grass, right? You have to be paying close attention. So again, I put that link down below to check out ButcherBox. Highly recommend you check them out if you are a big meat eater and you really want to enjoy it. So that link's down below. So even though we might be able to get a better workout and build more muscle in the evening, personally, I get better workouts in the morning fasted, but that's just me and I don't want to poke a fight with anybody. Anyway, point is, if the data says that you're going to be better in the afternoon, and it's because you have food in your system, why not just flip your fasting on its head and have your eating period be in the morning? That seems to work just fine, right? That way you could get up in the morning, you could train in a fasted state first thing in the morning, still get the benefits of training fasted, but then break your fast with your meal of the day in the morning, your first meal of the day. You break your fast with essentially what is your post-workout meal. Okay, so then the whole discussion of muscle protein breakdown and muscle protein synthesis is kind of null and void because you're solving that problem. And then you're just stopping eating at like maybe 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. The other thing that you could do is you could eat right smack dab in the middle of your morning feeding period. So if you eat between the hours of say 7 a.m. and 1 p.m., you could eat at 7 a.m. and you could go to the gym at 9 a.m. And that way you're fueled, because a lot of people like to train fueled. So they think, oh, I could never really intermittent fast because I train in the morning. It's never gonna happen. Unless I wanted to switch my training to the evening, well, guess what? No, all you gotta do is switch your fasting. So yeah, training during your eating period could be advantageous for building sheer muscle, but I think it does also come back to insulin sensitivity too. Okay, if you are more insulin sensitive during your workout, you're going to be more insulin sensitive when you break your fast at the end of your workout, meaning you might suck up more of the protein that you would ordinarily get in, right? So it's definitely something to be paying attention to. You have to look at the big picture here. So training during the afternoon in your eating period could be good if that's the style you want to fast, but training pre-eating period in the morning could be even better if that's what you're trying to do and build muscle. So as always, keep it locked in here on my channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.